All right, everyone, welcome back to Generation X Nation. As you've seen on the thumbnail, I will be discussing the Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm going to go into a little more depth into this reunion part one and focus a little bit more on the friendship dynamics. But before we get into my commentary, I just want to take a minute to thank everybody who has subscribed to my channel, who has left a comment, and who has liked my channel. Please continue to do so. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I really enjoy responding back to people and interacting. Okay. And with that being said, the way I'm gonna do the reunion, I'm going to go through some of the stuff that some of the little bit out of order because I really want to get down to the whole friendship dynamics. But first things first, when they came out on the stage, I will say everybody was absolutely beautiful. I thought everybody looked good. I'm not going to sit here and critique everybody's gown and they all look good to me. That everybody looked good. And that's a lesson to some of these other, shows. When you have these reunions, come out giving it your best. I like they were all color coordinated in the same colors. It just really looked good. Um, First thing everybody noticed, of course, as I said, we'll go through this quick. Karen wasn't there. I will get a little bit more into the Karen thing. People were questioning where Karen was at. Of course, Andy did show the video of Karen, and she made her speech and thanked everybody, thanked Andy, and announced she was going into rehab and whatnot. um that was kind of offsetting because as the speech was going on, I noticed and I knew off the top. I said she did not thank Wendy, and they kept panning the camera over to Wendy. You could see Wendy's face, and I think Wendy was really upset because she thanked Andy. When she said one other person was very important, we just thought it was going to be Wendy, and she said Andy. She thanked Jazz. Not Jazz, Kay. She thanked Kay, of course, and she thanked Giselle, of course. They have a long-standing friendship. But I just thought, Karen was wrong for that. In my heart of hearts, I don't know if she did it intentionally or not, but she knew doggone well she should have thanked Wendy. I had no idea that Karen really did not like Wendy to that degree. I mean, that to me is some fakery there. You're sitting there in this woman's face, filming every day, and apparently, allegedly, and in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only, but allegedly, everything Giselle was saying, everything Stacy was saying that you were saying behind Wendy's back was true. And I don't understand for the life of me what Wendy did to you. Why do you dislike her so much? They say she's self-absorbed. This and you didn't like that. I don't know. Maybe you felt Wendy thought she was better than everybody or smarter than everybody. But Karen, that is foul. And I'm not going to go hard on you because allegedly you're in rehab, getting yourself together, and I don't want to kick a person when you're down. But I do agree with Giselle. It was very convenient for you to go to rehab at this time. Giselle, whoever said it, Giselle, Stacy, whatever, but the ladies felt you picked the right time to go to rehab. So you didn't have to come to the reunion, it might have been Ashley, and face the consequences and face the questions and basically face the jury because you knew they was going to come after you. So it's very disappointing that you chose this particular time because if you wanted to go to rehab, you should have went to rehab before the trial. It seems like you're doing rehab now, one, to avoid the reunion, and two, to avoid any sentencing and maybe get probation. I like the grand dame, but now she wants to be called Karen, and we would do that going forward. She don't want to live in this persona anymore. But I want y'all to think back on something. I've watched this again, Real Housewives of Potomac, since season one. And one thing I will say, since earlier seasons when Sharice was on there, and Robin and Sharice has always alluded to Karen had a drinking problem. They've always alluded to that she hangs out in the bars at night and she gets drunk. And remember they said she was hanging out with a guy, Mr. Blue Eyes. They never really gave, we never really found out who the real Mr. Blue Eyes was. She said it was some assistant she worked with. We don't know. But they did say that often that Karen drank a lot. And they have, Sharice really got on her the last season she was on there, calling her a drunk and this and that. And everybody thought Sharice was wrong. That might have caused Sharice to be kicked off the show. I don't know. But I know people had been saying this for a while. I didn't know for sure she was a drunk, but I knew she did enjoy a cocktail. You could tell that. And again, the thing about my commentary is I watch the shows. I try not to listen to other people, and I focus in on just body language. I try to get my commentary based on what I see on the screen. I do not know these people personally. I have no personal vendetta against them. I don't like them, love them, either way. It doesn't matter. I don't know them, and it doesn't change how I live my life. But based off of watching the show and the things that have occurred, I always felt there was some little bit of truth to Karen's drinking problem. So when she got the DWI, I wasn't shocked. But what I was shocked at is when they showed the video and how drunk she was. And that's just not a person who went out and had a glass of wine or two at dinner with some friends and drove home. She was turning up some alcohol. She was turning up. Okay. So that tells me she's comfortable doing it and she's probably done it before and made it home safely. But this time she didn't. And again, not kicking a person when they down, but thank God she didn't hurt anybody. There's a whole group out there called MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. I'm surprised they didn't step up and say anything to Karen. I don't even know if they still exist, but back in the day, they used to get on people who drink and drive like that. So just that whole friendship dynamic shocked me because where you're thinking, I'm cool with Karen enough, this is Wendy, that I respect her enough. She's the elder of the group. We look at her as one of the OGs and a leader. I'm inviting you to the White House. This is a very, very private, personal, and important moment and significant moment in Wendy's life. And she shared it with you, Karen. And did you forget that when you were saying the thank yous? Forget all of the he said, she said stuff sitting there on the, on the panel and they're asking questions about what happened here. I don't, all that back and forth third party stuff. I know they do that on the reunion just to try to resolve issues. I'm looking more in depth. I'm like, golly, that lady invited you to the White House. Who does that? Who does that? You didn't even say at the minimum. I don't get along with Wendy that well, but at the minimum, I'm going to thank Wendy for allowing me a chance to go to the White House and meet the vice president at that time. That to me was low. That was a low blow. And I know as much as Wendy covered it up, I know that hurt her. I know it hurted her not to hear Karen thank her for that. Next, we're going to get into the Karen and the Stacy Giselle thing. Stacy was telling Wendy, hey, Karen was saying this and this about you. She didn't like you. She said a lot of stuff about you. Karen uh, apparently likes to go out and bring in the new girls first and give them a briefing of everybody and try to get them to maybe be on her side a little bit because they met Karen first and they like Karen and she wants to play Mother Goose or have that mothering role. Giselle agreed. She all seems to take them to the same restaurant, sit down and give them a briefing of the game. So she looks like the hero or the person that they come to when they have problems. The problem with Wendy, I believe, is Wendy didn't need Karen when she initially came there. Wendy said, I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm going to stand on my 5, 6, 11 degrees I got. I'm going to stand on my intelligence. And it didn't come off good the first season. People felt like, yeah, Wendy was throwing her intelligence out there and doing everything. But Wendy had, I guess she picked up on it. And then as seasons progressed, she became her own person. She started getting more confident. And I think Karen felt like, oh, now Wendy's independent of me. She doesn't need me. So I'm not going to like her. And I'm just going to, talk crap behind her back, but I'll smile in her face. I just think that was wrong, Karen. This friend dynamics is all over the place. Because as you can see, sitting on that couch, Wendy was the one constantly defending Karen when they were coming after her the whole season. And that had to hurt her to realize the person you thought was you were closest to and your friend betrayed you behind your back. But Giselle, who you have the most problems with, end up being one of your best friends on the show. And as you can see, Giselle without Robin on the show treats Wendy a lot different than Giselle with Robin. Because when she's with Robin, Robin didn't like Wendy, and it was like, screw Wendy, whatever. Wasn't inviting Wendy to things, isolating Wendy. Now Robin's not there, and Giselle gets to see Wendy in a different light, and all of a sudden, her and Wendy get along just fine. Okay, so this friendship dynamics is just weird to me. So they go on and start talking about some other stuff that occurred during the season, like the GNA event that Giselle and Ashley had. Karen knew they were having that event, and then what did she do? She goes and schedule an event on the same night. So now you put the girl group in a bind because they got to figure out how to go to one side of town and attend this event, and then make it to the other side of town in time to attend that event, or pick one event to go to. So the girls did try to be fair and go to both events based on the time. But they ended up falling behind a little bit, getting to Giselle's event late. And of course, as y'all seen on the show, Giselle got mad and kicked them out. And they brought that up. And Giselle, I'm sorry, did apologize because her real anger was towards, once again, Karen. The ladies was trying to accommodate both. Her real anger was towards Karen because she felt Karen did it intentionally. We don't know if she did it intentionally, but it seems that she did. So at some point, the lady said, "Hey, I didn't mind you kicking us out, but I mean Stacy, but she was like, it was just the way you did it. You shouted at us, and she did. They went and showed the footage, and she did, scream at them. So yeah, Giselle did apologize, and I thought that was big of her to do that. And then they had another event where Mia had I guess a birthday party. Once again, this is the friendship dynamics I'm talking about. She only invited Jazzy and Stacy. Nobody else on the show got an invite, and this is what they're finding out. And Jazzy and Stacy takes the time to fly down to Miami to attend this event for Mia, and Mia ghosts them. She doesn't show up to the dinner, or she showed up an hour late. And then when she gets there, I guess they had already left. When Jazzy and Stacy landed in Miami, they started immediately reaching out. They had already RSVP'd prior to leaving Potomac. They get to Miami, they RSVP'd her, let her know she's there. She's responding back to them, can't wait to hang out with y'all, all this stuff. And then ghost these girls. And so when they question on the stage, she tried to initially lie, like that's not true. That didn't happen, trying to pretend like she didn't know they was coming, they didn't RSVP. And Stacy said, no, baby, I got receipts. Stacy pulled out that phone and let Andy read. And then what did Mia do? Went into the Mia be lying tears. I'm just going through a lot. Why didn't you just say, hey, I screwed up, ladies. I shouldn't have done that. But instead, she wants to go into the Mia be lying tears, start crying. She going through a lot. And Giselle was like, we all going through something. We're not doing that. Wendy was like, this is your go-to. Every time we catch you in the corner or something, you start crying to get out of it. And I believe it because Mia do be lying. But that was so disrespectful of Mia to do that. First of all, you only invite two out of the group. And then the two that took the time to show up, because these are supposed to be your genuine friends, like Wendy said, you didn't even respect them enough to be there for them. And they didn't travel, across the country to come see you. So I'm like, okay, the friend dynamics in this group is kind of weird. Why didn't you just give an invite to everybody and whoever showed up, showed up? But thank God you didn't, because if you would have did Giselle like that or Wendy, they would have been on you. So you probably chose the two that you can get away with that with and brought them on the birthday trip. Again, just looking at the friend dynamics and how everything played out. Then they discussed a little bit of their personal lives and what was going on. Um, Andy finally got on Ashley about the divorce thing. Is it done yet, or have you filed for divorce? Ashley finally answered and says, yes, the divorce has been filed. It's sitting in a court. But I believe as of today, the divorce is finalized. I think Ashley got a settlement and some other stuff. But according to Ashley, she signed a prenup. She won't be getting alimony, but she'll get child support. And I think the guy did give her a settlement. As far as Stacy said she did file for her divorce. I don't know if it was final yet. She didn't want any child support, which I didn't think was the best thing, but hey, she knows her finances. She said she just asked for alimony. Then they get to Mia, and he asked Mia where she's sitting at. So, and I thought it was weird. I'm like, God, three of these people on this panel are already getting a divorce. So Mia said, the divorce is in its final stages. Nobody believes her. I don't know. I never went back and followed up on her divorce. As far as Wendy has a lot. He asked her how Happy Eddie is going, and it seems to be going just great. And then Giselle chimes in saying, basically, you're going to see a happy Stacy. And Stacy's like, what are you talking about? And Giselle just dropped a dime saying that Stacy's trying to create something similar to what Happy Eddie is, and she's going to call it Happy Stacy. And I'm assuming Giselle heard that through the grapevine from somebody. So she felt the need to just say it on stage. Giselle doesn't miss a moment to get some in there, to get some action in there, that's for sure. G&A, they talked about that business. Of course, Giselle and Ashley both said, the business, the timing was off because people were saying they were going online and they couldn't find any clothing, just pictures of those two. They said the timing was off. Ashley was going through the divorce. She didn't want to take the money and invest in the business right then and there, but they're still doing charitable things. So right now the business is not, even though it's a clothing line, they're focusing on charity right now. And I think that was it on the business side. And he did do a flashback about, Wendy, basically, that's not the first time somebody has tried to copy you, because Karen tried to copy her with the candle thing, and they showed Karen with the 3-wick candle versus Wendy's 1-wick candle or something. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can you get your own ideals together and stop, jumping on other people's ideals? But hey, it is what it is. We wish everybody success. And then they brought Jazzy out for a minute, and wasn't too much to say. He just wanted to get down to the root of her being a side chick or not being a side chick. Personally, I think, I don't know if she was a side chick, but there was definitely some overlap in the time that he left the young lady that had his youngest child and started getting with her. She said that her and the young man were developing a relationship as he was in a relationship with the other lady who was pregnant with his child. She was carrying a baby the whole time, but they weren't in a relationship. And she was never the side chick. She got very defensive about that. Um, I would say just advice to young people as a Gen X person. I don't know if I could date a guy who has a woman currently pregnant and carrying his child. There is some type of emotional bond in that situation. So I just wouldn't do it. Let the child be born. Let them figure out if they're going to try to make it as parents or save the relationship before you jump in. Because I feel like if you jump in while the baby is still, baking in the oven, it kind of interferes with a possibility of those two maybe hashing it out and getting back together. Because a child does bring different feelings and responsibilities into the world. And parent, you see things different from the eye of a parent than you do just the eye of a person running the streets and having fun. And when you throw interference in there, sometimes the judgment gets clouded. And I'm not saying that he was in a relationship with the girl. She could have just been some girl he met and dated a month or two, I forget, but I think they did have some type of relationship because I remember her saying that she had met his mom and everything. Well, he had met her mom. So I don't think that was the best timing for Jazzy to start dating him, but apparently they're happy and they're moving on. So whatever, but just advice to people. No, I wouldn't date a person who has a baby on the way, unless there's some unique circumstances behind it. But I would stay away from that. That's just a red flag to me. So, and they, talked to her for a little while, and I'm assuming she likes Karen too. And she didn't stay on the stage much. She just kind of cleared the air there, said a few things, and then she moved on. And at the end of the show, of course, they show them leaving the stage, I guess, for the break. and Mia's in her room. Stacy goes back there, and Mia's back there, pleading for forgiveness, apologizing, little tears in her eyes. And Stacy is standing on business. She's standing firm. I'm basically not accepting your apology or these tears. You were wrong, period. And it kind of goes off after that. I don't know what next week is going to hold, but it seemed like it's a tough reunion for Mia. It would have been a tough reunion for Karen had she showed up. But the way I'm looking at the friendship dynamics, these people, the uniqueness of this show is they will all go places together, they will all film together, even though they don't like each other. But they do it because that's what the show wants them to do and they know it's needed. But as you can see, there is a friendship dynamics that people they didn't even realize was going on underneath the belly because nobody knew. Well, I won't say nobody. I don't think Wendy knew the depths of which Karen did not like her until everybody started coming on the stage telling her that. And that had to have been terrible. And again, I'm not knocking, I mean, not terrible, but hurtful too. Not knocking Karen because I know she's going through some stuff, but I just find that so rude and so disrespectful the way she treated Wendy, unbeknownst to all of us. I mean, we was hearing things, they were saying things on the show, but the reunion really opened it up. And then you start looking back and seeing some of her actions and interactions with Wendy and things she was saying, and it makes sense. And the whole time Wendy was fighting for her. Lesson learned, people. Always watch your back. What's that song? They smile in your face, and all the time they want to take your place. The backstabber. And I hate to say it, but Karen seems to be a backstabber. All right. And with that being said, leave your comments. I will try to respond to you. I appreciate each and every person who subscribes to my channel. Again, my commentary is based on what I see on the television, what they say out of their mouths, and I do my commentary off that. I know stuff is edited. We're finding out all these reality TV shows, they do leave out a lot. I mean, Lord knows Married to Medicine and Huntsville showed us a lot of stuff that how they be editing to make people look bad. We knew that happened anyway. We're not stupid, but the lengths of what they go to editing things to get a narrative out is really starting to be exposed in reality TV. So, with that being said, you guys stay warm. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, peace out.